Hey, what's up, you guys? It's me. You're not gonna have to hear me ramble so much on this. You're gonna hear my voice, but these definitely are not my words. If only I was this intelligent. These are going to be the words of the deceased Carl Sagan, and it's about the Pythagoreans and a little bit about like the Ionians, I think. Okay. The Pythagoreans delighted in the certainty of mathematical demonstration, the sense of a pure and unsullied world accessible to the human intellect. A cosmos in which the sides of right triangles perfectly obey simple mathematical relationships. Like this was a rather revolutionary idea at the time. It was in striking contrast to the messy reality of the workaday world. They believed that in their mathematics they had glimpsed a perfect reality, a realm of the gods, of which our familiar world is but an imperfect reflection. In Plato's famous parable of the cave, prisoners were imagined tied in such a way that they saw only the shadows of passersby and believed the shadows to be real, never guessing the complex reality that was accessible if they would but turn their heads. The Pythagoreans would powerfully influence Plato, and later, Christianity. They did not advocate the free confrontation of conflicting points of view. Instead, like all orthodox religions, they practiced a rigidity that prevented them from correcting their errors. Cicero wrote, "In discussion it is not so much weight of authority as force of argument that should be demanded. Indeed, the authority of those who profess to teach is often a positive hindrance to those who desire to learn. They cease to employ their own judgment and take what they perceive to be the verdict of their chosen master as settling the question." In fact, I am not disposed to approve the practice traditionally ascribed to the Pythagoreans, who, when questioned as to the grounds of any assertion that they advance in debate, are said to have been accustomed to reply, "The master says so." The master being Pythagoras. So potent was an opinion already decided, making authority prevail unsupported by reason. The Pythagoreans were fascinated by regular solids, symmetrical three-dimensional objects, all of whose sides are the same regular polygon. The cube is the simplest example, having 6 squares as sides. There are an infinite number of regular polygons, but only 5 regular solids. The proof of this statement is obviously an appendix, and I'm not going to get into it. For some reason, knowledge of a solid called the tetrahedron, having 12 polygons as sides, seemed to them dangerous. It was mystically associated with the cosmos. The other 4 regular solids were identified somehow with the 4 elements then imagined to constitute the world: earth, fire, air, and water. The 5th regular solid must then, they thought, correspond to some 5th element, and could only be the substance of the heavenly bodies. This notion of the 5th essence is the origin of the word quintessence. Ordinary people were to be kept ignorant of the tetrahedron. In love with whole numbers, the Pythagoreans believed all things could be derived from them, certainly all other numbers. A crisis in doctrine arose when they discovered that the square root of 2, the ratio of the diagonal of the 2 sides of a square, was irrational, that the square root of 2 cannot be expressed accurately as the ratio of any 2 whole numbers, no matter how big these numbers are. Ironically, this discovery was made when the Pythagorean theorem was made with the Pythagorean theorem as its tool. Irrational originally meant only that a number could not be expressed as a ratio, but for the Pythagoreans it came to mean something threatening, a hint that their world view might not make sense, which is today the other meaning of irrational. Instead of sharing these important mathematical discoveries, the Pythagoreans suppressed the knowledge of square root of 2 and the tetrahedron. The outside world was not to know. Even today there are scientists opposed to this popularization of science. That sacred knowledge is to be kept within the cult, unsullied by public understandings. I just thought that was a useful little bit of the book Cosmos. This is by Carl The late Carl Sagan. He also had a special on, I think it was PBS, of similar title. Carl Sagan is the absolute man. And I just thought I'd throw out the origin of the word rational there. It's kind of like times of the Ionians and Pythagoreans and stuff. Of course, we know that this isn't true, that there's no such thing as a right angle, there's no such thing as a straight line. But it's useful in mathematics. Alright, see y'all later. Peace out. Fuck off.